Before becoming a Muslim, please think deeply about the following 15 facts and one unique alternative. All sources are given at the end. 1. The text of the Quran has changed. There are various Arabic versions that sometimes give a different meaning. 2. Muhammad experienced traumas that led to attempts of suicide. He was first known as a good person, but when he gained more power, the Prophet of Islam ordered to kill some of his enemies. This is also reflected in the increasing violence in the Quran, commanded by Allah against his enemies and those who voice disagreement with him. 3. According to the Quran, submitting to Allah means you have to submit to Muhammad and all his decisions too. For example, he did not allow for dogs to be kept at home. 4. Muhammad claimed mainly 2 miracles as proof for his prophethood. There is no evidence for his splitting of the moon, nor for his dream about his journey to paradise on a horse-like animal. If you trust him to be a prophet, why not trust many other people who made similar claims? 5. Muhammad said wrongly the end was so near, it would happen before a boy in his presence would die. No wonder that some of his contemporaries accused him of lying. 6. Muhammad married Aisha, one of his 11 wives, when she was 6 years old and consummated the marriage when the child was 9 years old. 7. Most of what we know about Islam comes from Muslim sources. Very little is confirmed by early historical, or archaeological, non-Muslim accounts. The Islamic traditions, known as hadith, were first passed on orally and put together as writings very late, about 150 to 230 years after the events. This resulted in different hadith collections by Sunni and Shia Muslims, the main two of about 100 different Muslim sects. 8. Once you chose to become a Muslim, the decision cannot be reversed according to Islam. To leave the religion is punishable by death under Sharia law. 9. The main reason why Islam grows rapidly is because of its higher birth rates. Women are commanded to focus on children and their husbands. 10. Muslims claim that the divine origin of the Quran is apparent when read in Arabic. However, computer analysis has shown it has the same compositional structure like that of other poetic, oral performances, like Homer's Iliad and his Odyssey. This means that the Quran is structured like we would expect for something originating in an oral culture. It is also the best explanation for the Quran's repetitions and frequent mixing and matching of sources. 11. Contrary to the opinion of many Muslims who quote vague verses, the Quran does contain clear verses of scientifically wrong statements. 12. While the Quran states that it confirms the Torah and the Gospel, it contains a number of stories that were borrowed from earlier writings, not accepted by Jews and Christians. 13. The Quranic description of paradise overwhelmingly contains sensual and sexual delights for men. Women are mostly to serve their lustful fantasies. 14. If after these points you are still considering becoming a Muslim, please do not just listen to Muslims but also to the many who have left Islam. 15. Last and most importantly, Islam stubbornly refuses to accept the love of God shown in Jesus, as it is described in the Bible. Here is why. Sahih Muslim 2817a says, "No one will enter paradise by virtue of his deeds, rather by the mercy of Allah, exalted is He." How can God, who is holy, pure, perfect and just, besides being merciful, allow people who sin against Him into paradise without punishment? Is that not unjust? Followers of Jesus also believe that entering paradise is not by good deeds but by faith in God, or by His mercy. Faith and works by definition are fundamentally opposed. Faith means trusting in, or relying on a promise of God's work and not depending in any way on human performance. Good deeds are then done out of thankfulness that someone is saved and goes to paradise, not in order that they maybe be saved. Islam explains that Allah can do what He wants, even if it goes against His own attributes of justice. The Gospel teaches that God solves this riddle in Jesus Christ, who paid the punishment for our shame and sin through His sacrifice on our behalf. In that way, God meets the demands of His justice and love without us having to go to hell to be purified first. That by itself would be a kind of work, in that one needs to pay off His punishment. We may not fully understand how He did it, but God asks us to have faith, to trust in what He did. For more details of what God did for us out of love, and for all the reliable, mostly Muslim sources of the 15 facts, please visit medium.com/@Oscar1_444480.